Hey friends, welcome to my new studio space. I have in the last couple months gone through a lot of changes here at home, and I was able to finally move my studio out of the corner of my bedroom down to now my Zen den that I have, where I take my energy clients and coaching clients, as well as I have it as my art studio. Right now it's obviously not super clean. It doesn't normally look like this when I have people at my house, but you know, whatever. I digress. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today about pricing artwork and why it's such a difficult answer to get. So if you guys have, been watching my channel for a little bit and, a little while, you know that I like to do tips and tricks, and I like to be super transparent about the world of art, what I'm doing with my life, where I'm at with my art career, and I just want to help you guys along in your art career if that's something that you are pursuing as well. So let's get started.
Welcome. Please like and subscribe for more art content just like this.
Okay, so you see a couple of paintings behind me, and I put these ones specifically here for a reason, and I have another little guy that's framed down here because I want to show you a couple different examples while we talk about pricing. So first of all, congratulations on deciding to have an art career in the first place. The moment that you actually declare to the universe, this is what I am doing, it starts to unfold in front of you. And the more you believe that, the more it unfolds. So congratulations on getting to this point. I live in the Portland area, so I live in an area that is very art-centered and eccentric, and the weirder the better, right? It's almost to a point where if it's extremely weird, people are like, oh, and it makes them think, right? I feel like there's really no level of normal in Portland. The level of normal in Portland is a certain level of chaos for other places in the world. I lived in Montana for a while, and I lived in a progressive area of Montana. However, it was still, there's nothing like Portland. It's just weird here. So anyways, that being said, you have to cater to your market. So if you are, if you are in an area that your artwork kind of fits in with the vibe there, and you know that you'll get a lot of clients in that specific area. If you're in a more rural area, and here in Washington, we have a couple towns that are really cute little farm towns, right? And that's really who you cater to is small town farmers, and people that would be interested in Wild West paintings, and maybe things along those lines that are a little, having, landscapes or something like that, right? So if you're in a rural area and you paint things like this, that's kind of bright and eccentric and full of rainbows and all sorts of kooky things, you might not sell a whole lot in your area. So you have to think about oh, well, should I do markets in my area? Should I make a website? Should I do a print on demand? What should I do, right? So the first thing to think about is where you want to sell your art, essentially, and what kind of products you want to have it on. Because if you are strictly painting, you're painting on canvas and you're just selling that painting, you are losing money. So the most important part of any painting that you have is take a picture of your painting, and don't take just a standard, you can take a standard picture on your phone, but you can only get prints that are certain sizes of them, out of that because of the DPI, right? So if you are able to take a really high quality photo, if you have a camera where you can take raw pictures of your artwork, and then you can utilize that to have people, to allow people to buy prints online, if you're not doing in-person markets and things like that. Prints online, if you are able to print them on mouse pads, all sorts of stuff. You can do calendars, you can do all sorts of things where people can purchase your artwork without purchasing just the original. And so yes, you can sell the original and you can make a decent amount of money on it if you're selling directly to the collector. But then if you have all these other items that you're able to monetize, you spend a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of energy on your artwork, and you deserve to be paid for your time and energy and passion. You really, really honestly do. So don't sell yourself short. Don't just sell your originals. Sell, take a great picture so that you can sell things that it's printed on, okay? So for instance, I have a purse that has where's she at? And I carry all of my stuff in that bag that has this print on it, and one of the most amazing things happened to me a few weeks ago. So I was going to Goodwill and I was looking for canvases and frames and things like that. And I had a cart like full of a bunch of canvases. And a lady came up to me and she was like, hey, are you repainting those? Are you an artist? And I said, yeah. And she goes, well, what kind of stuff do you do? And I had my purse on me. So I go, oh, this is one of my paintings right here. And she goes, oh my gosh, wow. And then another lady overheard us talking and she goes, oh, you're an artist. And I was like, oh, that is the best compliment I have ever received in my entire life. Like, it made me feel like I had arrived. And I know that sounds ridiculous because like we never truly arrive. If you think you arrive, then you stop trying and you stop trying to learn, and nobody gets there. So anyways, so yeah, I had that purse on me, and then one of the other ladies like asked for my business card, and so like I get to network because I have a purse that has one of my paintings on it. And so that's another great way to advertise yourself too. If you are able to create something like that, where you have stickers, where you have calendars, where you have a purse that you just carry everywhere that has one of your paintings on it, people will ask you about it, and people will be like, oh wow, like you're actually really great and you're talented. And it happens more than you think. So taking a good high quality photo is very important to selling your paintings. Now let's get into what you are painting on, because that factors in what your pricing is going to be as well. And I will talk to you about pricing towards the end of this video too, regarding your print products, okay? So let's say, so this guy here, I don't know if you can see that, I did a rainbow edge on it, and this is, I think it's 1.5 inches thick if I remember correctly. I have a ruler somewhere, but it's 1.5 inches thick. So this is a gallery wrapped canvas, okay? If it's a gallery wrapped canvas, it's gonna be like 1.25 to 1.5 inches thick. Some of them are a little bit thicker if you get like the really, really big canvases. But that is considered gallery wrapped, and that is considered more professional looking than canvases that are actually like this box, which I'm gonna frame this for this lady. But like, see like the thin ones that you get, you know, just to practice on, you know, at the craft store, which they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. My dog's really old, so he needs help with a lot of things. Okay, so let me get back to where I was. So if you have the thinner canvas right here, it's not going to be reasonable to price it as high as something that is gallery wrapped. However, if you are like me and you like repurposing things, like this canvas is one that I found, I have another video on it. It's one of the ones that I found at Goodwill for like $8 instead of buying it for $50. And I resurfaced it and I put gesso on it and everything, and then it's a brand new painting now. The other thing that I like to do is I like to repurpose old frames. That's why I brought this guy out. So this is a little pelican that I did. And this is it's a repurposed frame that I found at Goodwill. Again, it was like $6 or something. So if you frame it, it's also worth a little bit more because you have that protection on it. You have that beautiful frame, and you're able to make it like even more high quality. I would recommend framing as much as you possibly can, or doing gallery wrapped canvases, because you are going to get more bang for your buck. So yes, did I get that, that frame at Goodwill for $6 or $8, whatever it was? Yeah. And then you know what I did? I cleaned it up. I cleaned it all up. I made sure it was spotless. I cleaned the glass up. It's in perfect shape. I put my painting in there. And then on the back of it, I'm actually going to put some decorative painting. I'm going to put a wax seal and my signature on it. And that is part of my personal brand. That's what I like to do for my personal brand that elevates my artwork a little bit. So if you can also find something that elevates your artwork and makes you stand out from the other artists, not just by how you do your art, but how you package it, how you present yourself, how you present the actual artwork itself. What's your mission behind it? What's your cause? What's your why? Like, find out your why. I want to repurpose things, and every single sale that I make, like, cause all of my artwork has animals on it, right? So every single sale that I make, I donate 20% of my profit to an organization having to do with that animal, some kind of wildlife conservation, some kind of land conservation. And that's because that's a huge passion of mine. And so that's where my edge is, and that's where my passions lie, and that's why I am successful in doing this, because it aligns with my soul and my heart. So let's finally get to numbers. All right. So it depends on, I'm trying to think of like the best way to say this, because your art is worth money, and people want what you are creating. What you are creating is going to speak to your specific audience, right? So these things that I'm creating, no, it probably wouldn't speak to a rural farmer, right? But because I'm in the Portland area, like I do very well at markets because this is the kind of stuff that I create and that I have, right? So if you're not selling in person, definitely have a website. I know social media can be like a huge hassle, but it's a really valuable part of marketing, okay? And if you are at the point where you are using, you know, decent quality material, your skill level is pretty darn good, right? And you are, you know, able to varnish it with correct stuff, if you are packaging it beautifully, if you are literally creating a brand out of your voice and you are sticking with it, improving your skills consistently, and if you like constantly get feedback where people are like, oh my God, you made that? You're an emerging artist. Like, you are considered an emerging artist, okay? For the first couple of years that you are doing that and you're doing it regularly, you're considered an emerging artist, and that's a beautiful place to be because you get to decide kind of what path you want to take, right? So for me, I charge $2 per square inch right now for my mixed media paintings, okay? So $2 a square inch, and it doesn't matter if it's on gallery wrapped or it's on one of these, because everybody that's on one of these thin guys, I actually frame. And so there's a custom frame that goes with these, and I still charge $2 a square inch, whether it is framed or gallery wrapped, okay? So that's where my pricing is at. And that tends to be a pretty decent spot for the type of artwork that I make, the size that I make, and the quality that I make, and for my skill level. So that's where I tend to sit with that kind of stuff, okay? I want to remind you how important art is and how important your artwork is. If you are making something consistently and you are putting your heart and soul into this, and if you are really putting yourself out there, you are speaking to so many people, not just yourself. Whether somebody buys your painting or a print or whatever, every time you put it out there, somebody connects with it and goes, oh wow, like I feel seen, I feel heard, I've gone through something like that. Every single painting that I have is connected to a story of some kind because I'm an intuitive painter, and so everything I paint has some sort of deep meaning, whether I understand it at the point that I'm painting it or whether it comes after I paint it. It's crazy, it's weird, we'll talk about that another day. So that's where I'm at personally. And if you are, you know, if you've taken professional lessons, not even professional, even YouTube University, if you've been honing in your skills and you have something that people consistently are like, wow, that's really cool, you're great, you're good at this, you know, anywhere from like $1.50 a square inch to like $2.50 or $3 a square inch would be pretty reasonable. And also, I mean, factor in what materials you're using too, because like if you're painting, your paints are like, materials kind of expensive, right? It can be. But if you are using like solid gold leafing and like half of the painting is solid gold leafing, factor that in. Like if you are using very expensive, very niche materials, you need to factor that into, and you need to be paid back for that at least threefold, okay? Because that's the rule in like retail, like whatever you purchase times 3, and that's what you sell it for, okay? If you haven't been in retail before. And artwork is like very, very niche, and so it's kind of cool that we get to price ourselves a little bit, right? And then feel that value within. After you kind of get some traffic going, you only up your price when you have more traffic than you can keep up with. So that's a really, really good tip. So start somewhere, wherever you feel that you are valued and wherever you feel your value is. And once you have so many people inquiring and buying everything, when you can't keep up with the demand, bump it up a little bit, whether it's 25 cents a square inch, whatever it is, like bump it up a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, and then you will continue to have this like just snowball of, you know, of clients and collectors and all this great stuff. So now let's talk about prints. So it also depends on what prints you are using. So if you're doing like a high quality, like museum quality paper print, that's very valuable too. And you know, people can frame it themselves. You can also, like, I use Printful. So Printful is an awesome site that has really great resources, and a lot of artists use Printful. It works well with like my Squarespace, and they like to talk to each other. I used Gelato for a while and I liked Gelato, but it doesn't like to talk to Squarespace, and I prefer easy technology things because I have other stuff I want to be doing besides figuring out what's going on with my computer. So I use Printful and I use Squarespace for my website. So Printful has like a handful of different options. You can do metal prints, you can do canvas prints, you can do framed paper, you can do framed canvas. There's a lot of options, and then they have other stuff that you can print it on too. Like, that's where my purse came from that I have. So I have my purse that has it on there. You can do clothing with your prints on it. So if you have like a really cool like geometric print, or if you have something that's really abstract and fun, like you could make yourself a pair of leggings that like have it on there, or a sports bra, or like whatever it is, right? There's tons of options on there. So like you can go with the retail model where it's like, oh, price times 3, right? However, that doesn't always translate into what your value is. And so it's important that you know your value with your artwork. And so I hate to say compare yourself. However, there's probably a lot of artists that you follow on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, whatever it is. Look at their artwork that's kind of similar to your, like the similar vibe. If you guys use similar materials, check out their pricing and kind of see where they're at. Like if you know somebody is successful within whatever media you are using, whatever style and everything, you can kind of use that as a jumping off point, and like look at like 3 or 4 of them. Don't go off of one person, okay? So look at 3 or 4 of them with like varying levels of success, right? And they're gonna have prints on their website, and you can see what their prices are at. Sometimes you can see how many they've sold. Even like there's a lot of places, a lot of artists on Etsy that have prints on Etsy too. You can look on there and see how many they've sold, what their success rate is. And all this stuff. So do a little bit of market research before you just go out and use the retail model of price times 3, okay? Or like, it's really hard to price your artwork based on what you paid, right? So for this canvas, I paid like $8 for this canvas, right? But I used like 10 to 20 different color oils on here. I know it sounds ridiculous, but like 10 to 20 different color oils. There's some silver leafing. I used like 10 different color you know, acrylics on it. I used inks in the background. There's gesso on the background. I did, you know, all the brushes and stuff that I used. It is impossible to price your paintings based on like the material that you've used times whatever, right? So that's why it's really good to just do market research, see what things are selling for, and make sure that you're recognizing your value, because art is a very important part of society. It is extremely valuable, it's extremely personal, and it's extremely emotional. And once you have something that speaks to this audience that you have created, that has found you because they want what you have to sell, right? Once you have found your people, it's crazy. People want to invest in things like this because somebody wants to look at this every single day and remind themselves of whatever they connected to, whatever they connected to. Like my goddess series has been kind of popular too. I love drawing goddesses. It's really fun. I'm not a huge like people, you know, I always do animals, but like this one, don't judge because she's halfway done, okay? But this one, this is Hecate with her 3-headed dog. She's gonna be holding a lantern. Like this kind of stuff, if somebody wanted to remind themselves every single day of how much of a powerful goddess they are and how much control they truly have in their lives and how much they can literally move mountains with their ideas and their you know, what they have to give to the earth and all of this value, if you recognize that in yourself and it speaks to you, you don't care what something costs. Like people really, really don't, and do not shop out of your own pocket ever with art, okay? Because I know that I will look at this and I am super, super guilty of this, of being like, oh, well, I messed up on her hair, or, you know, like here's one that I get like all the time. Don't judge me. Actually, or judge me, I don't care. I get like a dog hair in there and I can't get the stupid dog hair out. And it's like, completely invisible to everybody else. There's gonna be varnish on it. Like, it's like there's nothing that takes the value out of the painting because there's one dog hair somewhere on it that's like this big, right? But I see that and I'm like, oh crap, should I like discount it because there's a dog hair on it? And I have to stop myself and be like, Natasha, oh my God, no, it's a dog hair. It'll be fine. And you can also like cover that up with paint super easy if it really, really bothered anybody, right? So it's really easy to look at your own painting and then devalue yourself. Instead of doing that, you need to value yourself. And I know that I've had this talk several times with myself. I have a friend right now who is like, I was actually pricing some prints yesterday, and I was like, yeah, I think it's probably like valued at this. And this is like all based on market research, and she's not in the art field. However, she wants me to be super successful, and she sees my value so much that she's like, why are you selling yourself short? Knock it off. And I'm like, oh, well, I thought that was reasonable for the print. And she's like, no, bump it by 10 bucks. And I was like, okay. And honestly, she was right, because I did some more market research and I was like, oh, she's not wrong. Like, this is really actually worth, you know, this is worth whatever it is, right? So that's kind of the end of my spiel on pricing. I am at $2 a square inch for things that I randomly make, okay? So if I wake up one day and I'm like, oh, I'm paint a tiger, that's gonna be $2 a square inch, okay? I do take a limited number of commissions, and we can talk for just a quick minute on commissions because I don't want this video to get too crazy long, but I take a very limited number of commissions. And the way I take commissions, because I'm an intuitive painter, and I will do another longer video on this later, is I will let somebody like pick an animal and a color scheme, or like a couple of colors, okay? And then tell me why they're so important to you. And that's all I need. That's all I need. And then I will create a painting based on those 3 factors, and that is it. Do not tell me what you want to look at every day. Do not tell me how you want an animal positioned, because I can't paint that way. If somebody says, oh, I love flamingos and I really want one that is like sitting, it's like standing on its side here, and I want its right leg up like this, and then I want it like looking to the side a little bit, and like maybe with its chin up a little bit, and then maybe a couple more in the background that are just like looking at it like it's beautiful, I cannot paint like that. I will not be able to, and that does not devalue me. It actually values me more, because I am in such a niche market, and I know that what I create for that person is going to be amazing, and they're going to look at it and they're going to be like, how did you capture that? And I know that I'm capable of doing that, so I am a valuable artist because of that. And for commissions, I do $3 a square inch. So it doesn't seem like it's a huge difference, but in the long run, it definitely is more to get a commissioned painting, right? And eventually that'll bump up here and there, but that's where I'm at right now. So $2 a square inch for things that I wake up and go, that sounds fun, and then I paint them. And then $3 a square inch for commissions. And then as far as prints go, it depends on what they are made from. My paper prints, I think I have an 8x10 right now that's like, I think it's $29.99 for the 8x10, and that's like the smallest size that I have, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, don't quote me. It's all on my website. You guys can check it out. I'll link it below. If you make stuff similar to what I make and you want to check me out for market research, please feel free. Go look at my website, check out everything on there, and yeah, if you're making things along these lines. Do not, before I leave, do not let your friends and family help you price your art. Don't do it. I literally don't even show that, like, don't even ask them how much they pay for something. If you show them a painting and go, how much would you pay for this? They know that it's you, and your friends and family will devalue you. And I know that sounds terrible. They don't do it on purpose, but the more you know somebody, the more you're likely to devalue what they have, because you don't see the magic behind it. And like I said, I know it sounds terrible, but they're more likely to criticize it. They're more likely to, and I don't think that they mean to criticize it to be mean. It's more like, oh, I can see what you're aiming for, and maybe if you did this or this, it would be really cool on there, but that will disrupt your artistic flow too. Don't let them do that. Your friends and family, it's like when they say, like, when you start a business, your friends and family are the last ones to come to your business. They're the last ones to pay for something, and they are the last ones to like share your stuff and like really, really support you, right? For the most part. Of course, there are exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, do not let your friends and family help you price things. Please don't, because you will underprice yourself every single time. do market research. You know the art world, they don't know the art world unless they are already in it. That is an exception to the rule, okay? I hope that helped. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I can't wait to see you again.